So if you're in the marketing or business world, you can't help but notice that it's been like the wedding season of getting together and talking about making money. You had Grant Cardone's 10X Con event, you had Funnel Hacking Live, you had Traffic Conversion. Every business person ever, it seems like, has come together to flirt and get on stage in cool business suits and talk about where the world's going and what they think is important. And then after these events, there's a ripple on social media where everybody posts pictures of themselves on stage and all the things they think about the world and where it's going. Now, I don't have a problem with anybody going to these events. I don't attend events, but if you want to go network and everything, that's awesome. That's awesome. They're great events. I don't have any problem with them. Don't have any problems with the speakers sharing their opinions. What I noticed on the few moments I was on social media is a lot of people are talking about things that I don't think are important. That doesn't mean that they're wrong. I just don't think they're important. And what they're doing, from my point of view in a lot of circumstances, is it's like there's a fireworks show going on right here. And they're talking about this fireworks show when they're completely ignoring a nuclear bomb going off like 10 miles in the distance. And if you're smart, what you should do is at least be aware of the nuclear bomb. So what I want to talk about in this video is not how people are wrong. I want to talk about the nuclear bomb going on over here and where I think everything's going to be going in the next few years, the best business models to get into, what you should really be focusing on, and the Industrial Revolution / technological revolution that is coming that is going to create the biggest opportunities in business that have ever existed. And I think they need to be talked about. So I'm going to talk about them. So there's a lot to talk about, so I'm going to dive straight into it. I'm not going to do any flashy intro jokes per normal, and that's not enough to keep your attention. By all means, go watch the Taylor Swift videos that are to the right of me. But you're going to miss out because I think this is some pretty important stuff. At least I think this is the most important stuff to my businesses. So here's the order I want to talk about things in. I want to talk about the number one thing you should be focused on. And I won't talk about it too long because it's actually really simple. Then I also want to talk about the business model you should be starting. Because everybody on these stages and posting all this stuff, they're not wrong. I'm not going to call anyone out or say anyone's a poo-poo head. But they're not talking about the right thing to focus on. And they're not talking about the right business models you should be getting into. They're doing very black and white things right there. And nobody's talking about the technological revolution that's coming that is going to create more nine-figure millionaires, more multimillionaires, more billionaires than anything that's ever happened in human history ever. And so it's like there's this nuclear bomb going off over here and everyone's like talking about, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with funnels, but everyone's over here talking about like a sweet funnel. And this stuff right here, I don't think is going to really help. And it's actually going to hinder you in the future if you just focus on like what is the best ad source or what's like the best thing to be getting into. So let me explain this real quick. So the number one thing you need to be focused on in 2019 right now is when I first got started, the internet was very disconnected. Even all the way back to 2012, 2013, the internet was very disconnected. And up until a few years ago, it was still very disconnected. So it was really easy to stand out as a company or brand if you just screamed really loudly. And Sam Evans made a video on this that I think you should watch after it. He talked about how the market is inverted. And so it used to be, what he said is that whoever used to scream the loudest got all the customers. But what's happening now is it's whoever has the best product gets all the customers. So let me explain what you'd see a lot, and what you see a lot of info marketers still doing, and this applies to every other business, SaaS and consulting and stuff like that. What people would focus on is they'd spend 90% of their time marketing and 10% of their time on their product. And so because of that, they were amazing at marketing, but they're not very good at creating products. I'm sure you might have seen a few people out there who are amazing at marketing, but they don't have very good products. It's because all their time is spent on the products. For example, this is a huge chronic problem in guru marketing because the person who's doing all the marketing is usually also the person creating the courses. So for example, one thing we have a huge advantage of at HCOM is the people that are coaching the course have nothing to do with the marketing. They're purely doing Shopify all day long. And so that's why our course is able to get results, because the people in the course are actually doing the stuff that they're teaching. It's the biggest thing. And I'm not saying other gurus doing it are not doing the things they're teaching, but I'm saying if you're spending 50% of your time marketing your product and then 50% of the time doing the stuff that's in the product, what's going to happen is you're split two ways. So you're not able to beat someone who's putting 100% of their time in the product. And here's the problem with this right now. The internet is so connected and it's so easy to reach people via YouTube, via Facebook groups. It's not too hard to get your first initial customers. It's not too hard to get them results if all you focus on is getting your customers results. And one of the things I've seen that has allowed us to really strive in ads is right now Facebook ads and everything else out there, the ability to shout is getting stifled. All right, for example, your Facebook fan pages don't go very far. Instagram's not going that far anymore. YouTube videos, if you're just marketing, and screaming, doesn't go too far anymore. And YouTube ads, AdWords, and Facebook, all those ad costs are going up dramatically. Okay, and so what a lot of people would rely on in the past is they'd have those lower ad costs, they'd have those the easier ability to scream, and so it was really easy to just focus on screaming. But what's happening right now is the only way to make these ads work, the only way to make things work long term is you have to have a really good product, because the only time your ads are actually going to work is when you first launch your ads up. That's when they're going to work the best, because everyone's new to it and you get your first initial wave of customers. But if your results in your product don't carry that initial wave into some really good result, you're not going to get much farther, because you're not going to have results to talk about. You're not going to have customers sharing your brand. And what is happening right now in products is, because everything's so easily found online, it's very easy to find the best product. It's very easy to find the best product. And what's happening is everybody's starting to all hover around the same product. There's no need for 15 different products in a space anymore. There's only need for 1 or 2 products. And this is really good news to you, because everybody on the internet right now is focused on screaming. Everybody's focused on screaming. No one's focused on their product. Okay, in the past, like for example, I've always worked very hard on my products, but I'm going to tell you 80% of my time was focused on screaming, because that's how you get customers in. So what I saw, the big thing that was helping us the most at HCOM, the big thing that helps us the most at Market Hero, is taking it down a sec. So for example, at Market Hero, what we focus on is more bringing on high ticket clients right now and getting them crazy results, and then using them to get us other clients. Because all we have to do is really go out there and get really good results, which few people deliver, and then that does everything for us. And then what we're also noticing at HCOM is we're doing a lot of weird stuff that other people aren't doing over there, but most importantly, it gets our customers results. And so because we get results, we can advertise those results, and we can pay more per lead because people are spending more at our business. And so that's allowing us to scream a lot louder than other people, because we're focused on the results first. And so the screaming comes easily because what we're advertising is something that's very effective to scream with. A lot of people are out there trying to rely on just their marketing message and their funnels, and I see all these people posting about, well, you need to be going on this ad source, you need to be looking at this social media thing right now, you need to be looking at this, and this, and everybody's, I'm not saying that's wrong, I'm not saying being an efficient screamer isn't important, but all these things are getting taken out. They're getting wiped out because the screaming is being stifled by increased ad spend and lower reach on social media for people that are trying to sell stuff. And so I just wanted to sum that up real quick. That is the biggest thing I think you should be focusing on, because no one's focused on delivering results in most businesses, especially most businesses from $1 to $5 million a year. And if your goal is to get in like the 6-figure to $1 million a year range right now, if you just focus on results, get your first customers on for free and just deliver amazing results to them and just obsess over them. And then use those customers to get more customers, and use those customers to get more customers, and then advertise those results, you're going to do very, very, very well in today's climate of not really delivering a lot of results. You're going to do extremely well. And so that's what I think you should be focused on before anything else. Don't focus on funnels. Don't focus on some specific business model. Don't focus on some specific ad source or a magic whatever marketing tactic. Focus purely on results and in advertising those results. You're going to do incredibly well. It doesn't take a secret system anymore, because what you're going to see is everybody screaming the exact same way on social media. Go through your Facebook newsfeed if you're in marketing or business. You will see 25 ads that are almost exactly the same, all in the same order. And all of them are talking about their magic system or their magic blueprint. Magic fucking blueprints don't get the job done anymore. All right? No one wants to hear about your magic fucking blueprint. They want to see the cold hard results, and they want to know where the best place to go to get results is. That's all people care about. It's all people care about. So that should be the number one thing you're focusing on, whether you're starting a business or you currently have a business. Now, next, what business models should you be focusing on in 2019? Everybody I see going on these stages or posting on Facebook is telling you, do this one thing. Do this one thing above every other thing. And this is the most important thing you should do. You should be doing Amazon FBA, or you should be doing Shopify, or you should be doing SEO, or you should be doing consulting, or you should be doing this thing or that other thing. The number one business model you should be focusing on in 2019 is whatever business model you like. Every single business model out there, Amazon FBA, I don't even know how that represents Amazon FBA. Shopify, consulting, SEO, I haven't done it in a while, but it still works. Email marketing. Every single one of these business models, if you're getting started, works. The reason why people are getting messed up is because everybody's telling them this one is better than this one, or this one is better than this one, and this one is better than this one. Now, of course, I would prefer if you got into email marketing and Shopify, because my education business is based around Shopify, and my SaaS company is based around email marketing. So I prefer if you got into those ones. But the God's honest truth is you just need to pick something and go all in it, because every single business model works in 2019 if you deliver results and you just focus all in it. The reason why people are getting so fucked up is because you only have 100 points of effort that you can put in every single day. And what people are doing is they won't go and commit to something. They won't go and close other doors. And what committing is not deciding this is the thing I'm going to do. It's deciding to close every other opportunity and only focus on that one thing. And to put this in perspective, I'm going to give you two quick little metaphors. Go look up a study called Dan Ariely's door game. And so basically what it is there's these series of doors, and they had, I believe it was at MIT. And each door, when you clicked on it, would give a range of money. So this door right here would give 10 cents to 20 cents when clicked. This door right here would give 5 to 35 cents. And this door right here would give like 12 to 24 cents. And so what people had is they had 100 clicks, and every single time they click the door, they get a random amount between these ranges. And so obviously people would go and dance around between doors trying to find the one that paid out the most. And eventually they come down to one of them and just click the same one over and over again. It was no big deal when people had all these doors left open. But what happens is that's not how marketing and business works. You can't go between things very quickly. And so what they simulate in this test is they made it so, okay, cool, you can click a door, but if you click one door 3 times, you lose the other door. Now, this is a summary of the test. There's a lot more to it than that. But basically, that sums it up. And so what happened is, in the first test, when people didn't lose a door, they click here a few times, they click here a few times, they click here a few times, and then they kind of find the one that they wanted, and they just settle on one. And usually over this time span right here, they would usually make about $50, okay, give or take. $50, that's around how much they'd make, and that's just a pulled up number. I'm just going to give you that as a baseline. But what they found in the study is as soon as they actually blocked it off, where 3 clicks and you lose a door, what people would do is they do this. They keep clicking between doors, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And the funniest thing is that if they just picked one door the entire session, any door, and clicked it 100 times, they would have made more money than doing this right here. Because jumping back and forth between the doors, so by trying to do every door and considering every opportunity and not closing up a certain door, the people actually made less money. They'd make about $40. And so what I'm trying to explain to you right now, in this very, very paraphrased study summary, is that you need to stop going between opportunities. Just pick one, because any one is going to work. Maybe the difference between Shopify and consulting is you might make $100,000 in Shopify and you might make $80,000 in consulting. But if you want to get to that point where you're making money, you only have 100 points of effort that you can invest every single day. And let's say it takes you 1,000 points to get to that breakthrough where you actually make money. And if you go and split that between 5 different opportunities, you're going 20 points here, 20 points here, 20 points here, it's going to take you forever to go and get to that 1,000 points needed. But if you just put 100 points in every single day on one opportunity, you're going to break through that 1,000 very quickly, and you're going to start making money in whatever you're doing. So in 2019, what you need to be doing is saying, fuck everyone who's telling you what you should be doing, pick the business model that makes the most sense to you and you like, and just do that. Pick one door and click it 1,000 times. Don't do anything else. Don't focus on anything else. And the same thing applies to traffic sources. In 2019, what you need to focus on, I would just say, is one traffic source. If you want to get started for free and you want to focus only on organic traffic, be the best organic traffic driver on planet Earth. Or pick YouTube ads, or pick GDN, or pick Facebook ads, or pick Snapchat ads. The way you get massive edge in any traffic source is you be the person that knows the most about it. So if you're split between organic traffic, which it might be like social media, and you're stuck between AdWords and you're stuck between Facebook, you're never going to hit that depth. You're never going to dig deep enough to hit that breakthrough where you can beat people really badly. And so one thing that I do really, really well is I focus on one traffic source at a time, and I just go and discover more things about that traffic source than anybody else, and I just focus on that one. And every one of these traffic sources has more than enough traffic to get you to $10 million a month. So there's no point in splitting between all these. And the last few videos I said, hey, look, don't do social media. And I'm talking about don't do social media if it's a distraction. If it's the best traffic source for your business, stop AdWords, stop Facebook. Go all in on this right here and only focus on that. That's what you should be doing in 2019, because the person who goes the deepest is the one who wins, not the person who's well balanced. The person who goes the deepest in a business model and the deepest in a traffic source is the one who wins the day. So then the final thing I want to talk about is the most important to me, because this is the greatest business opportunity for anyone, beginner or veteran, a person that already has millions of dollars, a person that has no money right now, that will ever exist ever. It might be the final one. Okay, that's what some people are calling it. It's that big. So let me explain it like this. And I've been looking into this a whole lot, and it's really my main focus right now. On top of like culture building and stuff at Market Hero, but like where I'm looking at in the future, this is it. So if you go back and look at specifically the second industrial revolution, specifically 4 guys: Vanderbilt, Rockefeller, Carnegie, and JP Morgan. A little bit of Ford, but I don't really consider it right there. And if you do want to look into this, they're always talked about in the same documentaries and stuff like that, so it's pretty easy to research all of them. I've researched one a lot more than all the other ones because I think he's the best one to look at. But these guys created more wealth than has ever existed in humanity. They single-handedly like took over the world technologically, and they made so much money it makes today's billionaires look like broke people. I think Bezos is number 1 in the world with 110 billion. Rockefeller had somewhere between 300 to 400 billion. Carnegie was even in like 250 billion range. Now, the reason why they were able to do this to some extent was because there weren't many business laws back then. So you could get away with a lot of things like monopolizing and a lot of things you just can't do right now. So the good news for you is the playing field is a lot more level. You can't abuse employees. You can't do a lot of the things that these guys did. That being said, the reason why all this wealth was created was because there was 4 industries that popped up in particular that came together in such a way that it just exploded like a nuclear bomb. And so Vanderbilt had the railroads, Rockefeller had oil, Carnegie had steel, JP Morgan had electricity. And electricity was the most important one because they all kind of fueled each other, but electricity was like, it will be very similar to one of the things that is popping up right now. But it acted as the fuel for everything. It really took everything forward, and it was kind of the final invention that took people out of this. But what happened is these industries came together, and these guys hopped onto these industries, and it was a nuclear bomb. And it moved humanity and technology forward. Like if there's like a slope, it's just going do and just boom, all right? And so whenever this boom happens right here, let me make sure you can view that, there is the greatest opportunity to get rich. Now, these things right here didn't change all of humanity all at once. They changed in America, and then it kind of passed around to the rest of the world. And when it came to every industry, these were kind of industries in themselves. They were these brand new industries. They didn't go and like completely revolutionize every single industry they touched. They were just such big technological evolutions that they became massive industries in their own. So having a monopoly in any of these ones right here made you just insanely rich. But what's happening right now is something really similar. And the playing field's a lot more level. Even though a lot of these guys, besides JP Morgan, all came from scratch. So saying it's not level is kind of silly. Anyways, what's going on right now is there's 4 industries that I think are really similar to this. And it's happening again, in my opinion. There's 3D printing, there's genetics, there's nanotechnology, and then there's AI. And AI is kind of the final thing, but it's also going to take every single one of these and work on it like a multiplier, kind of like electricity did. And what you need to be aware of right now is this right here. Some people say this is going to be the final industrial revolution, but what this truly is going to be the greatest business opportunity and greatest redistribution of wealth, the greatest completely turning upside down of business that's ever existed. And this is the point where, like, if we're in a curve right now where we're going like this is the point where it goes straight up. And if you can be right here, you have the chance to become a 7-figure millionaire, an 8-figure millionaire, a 9-figure millionaire, a billionaire. It's going to create more wealth across the world than anything else out there. And I think what it's also going to do is, like, the percentage of people that are super rich and the percentage of people that are super poor right now, and the quality of life is very different. I think it's going to really tip it to a much more equal thing. So it's just basically like the money pot's going to explode, and you just have to be here to catch it. But let me back up here in a second, because you're probably thinking, Alex, I don't know anything about 3D printing or genetics or nanotechnology or AI. I'm not saying in this I have some really big plans that combine actually 3 of these. Actually, one company is based around this, and another 2 are based around not that one. Yeah, a little bit. Actually, combine these 3 together. But I'm not going to talk about those because I don't want to. that being said, what you need to be focused on right now is not looking at this like, oh man, I need to make the 3D printer. Oh, I need to make the next AI. What you need to understand is that every single industry, every job, everything is going to be turned completely upside down. So for example, when it comes to the food industry, any type of food, once you bring nanotechnology and 3D printing it, there's a chance you could actually 3D print your own food. But what is more important with genetics and 3D printing and tissue printing, we could actually just grow cow meat. You wouldn't have to kill cows anymore. You could just grow it on an assembly line. That's the type of weird shit that can happen with this. Or with AI, it's going to remove every single middleman. Or with 3D printing, it's going to affect the e-commerce world or physical stores in the way that the music industry was hit by Napster. I don't want to get into all the things that are going to change because there's so many that you couldn't sit here and reasonably tell people that you understand all the things that are going to change. It's not even going to make sense. What you need to be aware of right now, and I think right now it depends on where you want to go. If you want to be a billionaire, you have to look at making something that really capitalizes on these industry and leads kind of the way in these things. A brand new technology or a brand new way to use it. But if you want to become a multimillionaire or very substantially wealthy, what you need to look at this more is like the invention of the iPhone. Okay? Because in the iPhone, you didn't have to invent the iPhone to become a millionaire. You just had to create the apps on it, like Uber did. Okay, and that's actually a way to become a billionaire. But you can see, you need to find ways, you need to pay attention to where this technology is at, not because you're going to be the one inventing it, but once the technology is there, you need to be the one who can use it. You need to be the one who can put the technology together and then use it in a way that's new. That's what you need to do. And it's going to be very hard to do that if you're not aware of this is the nuclear bomb that's going off. And if you're looking over here at the fireworks and all the people that are talking about the future of business is your funnels and your posts on Instagram and your fucking Facebook ads, and like a specific way you talk in videos and like do videos, like that's all good and great, but that's the fireworks show that's going on right in front of you right now where there's a nuclear bomb going off down the street. And you want to be near the nuclear bomb. You want to be very aware of that. So the second that thing goes off, you can grab it before anybody else does and take that fire and convert it into what you're going to do. Now, again, I'm not saying you have to be the person who invents a new AI. But there's going to be AI platforms. There's going to be huge advances in genetics. So, for example, you don't have to be the person who invents genetics. You could be the person who consults for those genetic companies. You could be the person who assists in creating the apps that generate the code for 3D printing. There's all sorts of little things you can go in there and find the little parts that you can get onto. And if you're just sitting there waiting for it, there's so many industries that are going to be changed that there's going to be too many opportunities to handle. It's not like when the internet was launched or when Facebook and everything was popping up. Like there's only so many opportunities, and there was zillions of opportunities. But it created new industries. And it affected a lot of industries, but it didn't change every industry out there. Like people still go to work, there's still accountants, people still have jobs, people still go to grocery stores. Just things are a little bit more connected. That's what the internet did. But this right here is going to change how everything works. You're going to go to a grocery store and there'll be AI bots putting away the groceries. And the groceries will come from places where it's grown by machines. This all sounds weird, but what is going to be even more important, you might not even go to the store because you might just 3D print your clothes and your computer from your house. And your doctor might be an AI machine that's controlled by a little chip in your body that just tells you exactly what's going on in your body and says, hey, there's something going on right there, and can diagnose diseases like that. Surgeries might be done by AI. There's literally every single industry is going to be radically changed. And so what I think is so disturbing about, not disturbing, that's like, this is so disturbing, guys. People aren't talking about AI. No, that's not what I'm saying. What is just kind of concerning is that everybody's over here telling people this is the future when this is the past. And there's this tidal wave coming, and you just have to be aware of it. Because there's going to be so many obvious opportunities. And again, you don't have to be the person. I want to just stress this because so many people are going to, I talked about this yesterday on Facebook. And so many people are like, well, I don't have any understanding of AI. I don't have any understanding of this industry. You just have to know it's there. And you just have to know what's being invented as it's being invented. And then figure out who to hire to work with those invented technologies. For example, Rockefeller did not create any of the processes behind his biggest successes in oil. He out-businessed everybody. And so if you understand how to run your business, and you can out-business people, you can be on the cutting edge of it. For example, JP Morgan did not invent electricity. Okay, he out-businessed everybody, and he actually stole, and didn't steal, but did some really underhanded things to get the patents to control electricity. All these guys were businessmen. All of them were businessmen. None of them were scientists. None of them had PhDs and any of this stuff right there. And you need to understand, as a business person, your job needs to be putting together the teams that are capable of taking advantage of these things. Your job needs to be seeing the opportunities. It doesn't need to be inventing the opportunities. It doesn't need to be making the code. And the opportunities can be as small as making an app. The opportunities can be as small as making, for example, Facebook was just a simple bunch of code made in a college dorm room. There's going to be so many opportunities like that. Maybe not to become a multi-billionaire, but to become a person that's very successful, and all you have to do is hop on the train that's coming. So the big thing I want to stress is don't pay attention to the fucking fireworks. Be aware of it. Use it right now. Of course, I'm using all these things that people are talking about to make money and grow my business. And I'm using a lot of these things to fuel the businesses that I'm thinking about, or how I'm thinking about getting into these things. And yes, be using these things in your business. But the way you get the edge right now, the way you get and you fuck everyone up, is you don't use these things right here. You use these things. So that's what I think is weird, because people telling you to focus on the past and the present, that's not how you get an edge. That's not how anybody ever got an edge. That's not how these guys right here got an edge. You get an edge by looking right here and being the first person to figure out how to use these things in your business. That's how you get an edge. You don't look at the past. So stop struggling to apply tapped opportunities. Be aware of them, but you need to be focused. You need to have your laser vision right here, because it's the biggest opportunity that is ever going to exist in the history of humanity, and you just have to look at it. So look here, not here.